Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So The View is getting absolutely crushed by its mushy brain viewers, but really not for the reasons you'd expect. I'm going to explain what I mean in just a minute, but thank you so much to everyone that's been subscribing and leaving such great comments, guys. Really appreciate the support. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, most importantly, share the channel. So The View had on probably one of the greatest, most iconic actors in history, and they brought him onto their show. It was Morgan Freeman, right? So they took the time to book him. They took the time to bring him down. They even primed him to talk about some of the wokest of woke agenda items possible. Yet they only gave him 5 minutes. They only dedicated 5 minutes to him in an otherwise very, very forgettable 1 hour show. So why? This really, really upset, more than upset, it really annoyed even the most dedicated viewer. But those people have no idea why. Well, I think I know why. I think you know why. I'm going to tell you what I think. Let me know in the comments if you have your ideas. But first, we're going to watch the show. If you hate The View, please bear with me because it's mostly hearing from Morgan Freeman. As far as The View goes, totally survivable, I promise. Take a look at this.
Life on the planet is in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And we're the cause of it.
That's right.
There have been, if I remember correctly, 6 extinction-level events on the planet since life began. I mean, 6 times. Large portions of life. Not human life we're talking. We're talking just life. Gone, destroyed. We're headed for another one. Scientists have said if we don't hurry up and change our ways, there's going to be a cataclysmic event that will wipe many of us off the face of the earth.
God. It's scary.
This is true.
Scary.
All right, so I'm going to stop it right there. Just to remind you guys, this is likely not true. It's certainly not proven true, not proven by any thoughtful or serious scientist. This is only believed true by the activists, the alarmists, the climate cultists, and their very, very unfortunate victims.
Yeah. Well, it's tenacious if we would just leave it alone. Leave it alone. The human interruption of all of that is what's causing all the problems. I hope that it's not too late. But let me ask you this, Jeff.
Just look here. Look at the way he stares her down as she just bumbles and stumbles through whatever nonsense she thinks she's about to gift the world from that brain of hers. She has no idea what she's talking about. And he knows that she has absolutely no clue. She's talking about we need to leave the planet alone. This lady has a team of cars driving her around. She flies private everywhere she goes. She owns multiple properties. They're all sucking energy all day, every day. And she wants you, the peasants of the world, to just leave the world alone. Come on, man.
My perspective on life, I don't think it changed my perspective. It just enhanced it. Because for a long time now, I've been listening to what they say about, I drive an electric car.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry I keep stopping it, but I know a little bit about cars, but come on, guys, an electric car, I'm not impugning any of you guys that have an electric car. They're very, very cool. They're very, very quick, but you are not saving the world when you drive an electric car. Literally, the amount of mining alone that is necessary to come up with the materials to build that car. You got diesel equipment running 24 hours a day, burning 1,000 gallons of diesel a day, moving 500,000 pounds of earth just to get enough materials for one battery. And that car, just so you guys know, based on all that stuff and more, by the time you pick it up at the dealership, it's got the carbon footprint, the same carbon footprint of me driving this Corvette for 7 years at 15,000 miles a year. And the people who are wealthy enough, well-to-do enough to buy these $100,000 electric cars to, quote unquote, save the world, they're not keeping a car for 7 years. They might maybe if you make them, if they leased or something, they might hang on to them for 3 years. But these people are always operating in a carbon footprint deficit. And there's more to that story, but the moral is really, you don't need an electric car. If you want to save the world, just buy Corvettes.
I want to ask you about a different document.
Go ahead.
As some politicians around the country try to...
All right, so here we go. As usual, here comes Sonny Hostin not happy with any conversation that doesn't involve race, not happy with any conversation that she doesn't get a chance to virtue signal and let her audience know just how much better she is than them. And she wants to talk about an entirely different documentary. And she wants to talk about race. You know, she wants to talk about Black history. And yes, if you have paid any attention to Morgan Freeman in the past, you know that this is probably where producers are going to start squirming in their seat. They are not entirely sure what this man is about to say.
Erase Black history. You're making sure people don't forget vital parts of our past, including this documentary that you executive produced called 761st. Did I get that right? Yeah, 761st Tank Battalion, the original Black Panthers, about the first Black battalion to fight in World War II.
First Black Armored Battalion.
Yes, and you...
All right, so already this is starting off with Morgan Freeman having to correct Sonny Hostin, who is trying to feed bad information, trying to craft some bad, faulty narrative for her audience, right? But the dude's not going to let it happen. He knows the facts, he knows the history, and you could tell what she wants him to say, which again is going to make the producers, you know, the race-baiting, agenda-pushing producers of The View very, very uncomfortable. They know that he is not a go-along-with-the-conversation kind of guy, especially on this topic. And honestly, the last thing the producers want is him saying something that they don't agree with.
You served in the Air Force. I know that. This film was then very personal to you.
Oh, yes, heavens. I movie buff from early childhood. I saw my first movie when I was like 6 years old. It was King Kong.
Oh, that was a good one.
Scared the hell out of me.
It did.
But I just movies.
Yeah.
And you know, start in the 40s and move up. And how many times did I see Black people in the movies? And if I did see them, what were they doing?
There were servants. They were always. I know it's appalling.
I can give you the name.
If you watch old movies, Betty Davis movies are particularly, even though she's great, and
it's the period.
It's not her
of time
fault.
that
It's
the
the
movies
period.
were made.
It's
just
upsetting
what they
to
were
watch.
doing.
Tell you the
Well,
truth.
it shouldn't be that way
It
because
is.
somebody.
So, you know, it's pretty good to watch. You know, the guy, he's not saying anything offensive. He's not pushing back too much on the ladies. You know, this is just what he does. He's not going to let you lead the conversation. If he's thinking something and he thinks it's noteworthy or important to the conversation, he's not going to be shy about sharing it. And he's definitely going to let, you know, them know where he stands. And he's not going to let them use him as a prop to peddle something he doesn't agree with. Producers know this. They know his history on this topic especially. And I'm sure you guys do also. But if you don't, I'm going to show you in just a few.
Did make money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And now that's the time. Now look at today, things we were always in flux.
Yeah.
Always.
But we've always been here.
Yeah.
Fluxing out.
Flux. Exactly.
I had a question, but we run out of time. Listen, this is extraordinary, this documentary.
Oh, yeah.
So not even the great Whoopi Goldberg is allowed to ask her last question. You know, she's got a guy in her ear. Oh, we have a tremendous trans-identified basket weaving segment coming up, and we only gave 5 minutes for the great, wonderful Morgan Freeman. Bye-bye, Morgan. So why? What is it that they're doing? You know, what is the point of The View? Well, the point is propaganda. The point is agenda. They have their worldview, and they feel some sort of creepy duty-bound duty to subject you to it and to spread it as far and as wide as possible. And the last thing they need, honestly, the last thing they need is a well-spoken, well-liked Black American who famously does not agree with their worldview even a little bit on this topic. And they don't need that person coming off and saying something contrary to their, you know, finely tuned, carefully choreographed, but very, very fragilely constructed worldview. Because here's the truth. You know, when it comes to Black history, this man knows the history. And this man has his own views. And if they push him on that topic, he's going to share some hard truths with that audience that none of the producers or any of those hosts, or probably even the audience, are ready to hear. Because here's what Morgan Freeman has said on the topic in the past. And this is what and how he actually believes.
Black History Month you find ridiculous. Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month?
No,
Well-
well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
No,
I
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman. You want to say, well, I know this white guy named Mike Wallace. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. I mean, honestly, how could anyone on the planet say that any better than that? I mean, the man is not wrong, and he's got the voice of an angel as he's doing it. So he's 1,000% correct. You know, this is exactly why the producers of The View were treading so carefully on that topic with him. I can't believe they even invited him on. Can't believe they let that topic come up. But here's what I get out of all this, man. This is how sad it is, you know, where our world is gone. This interview between Morgan Freeman and Chris Wallace, that was in 2005, man. And in 2005, there was no uproar. There was no cancel Morgan Freeman. Everyone reasonable, everyone who still possessed any ability to critically think, which was a lot more people then than there is now, honestly. But every single one of them, they agreed with it. It makes sense. You know, fast forward that to today in the year 2023. If anyone ever dare to say something like that, even someone as respected and as great as Morgan Freeman, if anyone said something like that, there'd probably be hell to pay. I mean, just look where we are now. You know, it's like I said, it's depressing is the only way to put it. We've gone from a time when someone can go on 60 Minutes and say, please stop talking about race, to a place where producers are literally cutting you off because they're terrified that you're going to say, please stop talking about race. Because if he does that, you know, the producers know that anyone sitting at home that has not gone completely and totally woke that's going to resonate with them, because all it is truth. All it is passion. It's real and it's personal, especially coming from someone like Morgan Freeman, a really trustworthy, honorable guy that we know. We feel like we know. You know, no one reasonable can argue with the fact that Black history is American history, and to dismiss Black contribution to 1 month, come on, how is that not insulting? No one reasonable can argue the fact that we should stop talking about race. Don't be confused, man, by what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, you know, because anytime you tell people we should stop talking about race, they accuse you of trying to whitewash this or whitewash that or whatever. That's not what I said. That's not what any reasonable person is advocating for. We should teach history. We should be very, very honest, brutally honest about our history. We have got to keep talking about that. But where we don't need to talk about it is everyday life. You know what I mean is, you know, when you see a news story, your takeaways should not be the race of the people involved in the news story. When we elect people, our takeaways should not be the race or the gender or the preference of the people we elected. When we hire people or fire people, the same thing should be, you know, it shouldn't be anything about their color or anything like that. It's got to be about the character. I think, you know, with Morgan Freeman's message, you know, when he talks about racism, you know, he says racism goes away when we stop talking about race. And I think that makes a lot of sense. At least that's what I get from what he's saying. That's just my take, guys. I thought you'd appreciate seeing this. You know, let me know in the comments what you think. And if you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.